Welcome back to Over the Hill Adventures. My name is Stan. So today we are going to change the oil in my 2022 Chevrolet Turbo Diesel 2500 HD. Now I have been forced out of retirement, and let me explain what that means. Well, since I have bought my truck and they've been under warranty, what I've been doing is I just let the dealership service it. But since I had a little mishap with them, they have forced me out of retirement, so now I'm going to do all the oil changes myself. So let me explain to you what happened. Basically, on our long trip, my indicator said I was basically at a 0% for my oil change. So what they do is they send you an email if you would like to schedule an appointment. I scheduled an appointment for yesterday. When we get home, I get a call from the dealer and they tell me, well, we don't honor your online appointment. I says, okay, I understand. He goes, we're not even open at 7 o'clock. Okay, that's fine. I know you guys open at 7:30, and if they would have known that I go there all the time, but apparently they don't really know. I guess that's understandable. So I go, when is as soon as you can get me in, knowing that I have 0% on my oil and I need to get it changed immediately. Well, he goes, the next time I could get you in is in 3 weeks on June the 15th. I tried to get my oil changed at a dealer on the road in Spearfish, and they were closed because they didn't have enough people to work for them. So I don't exactly know what is going on with Chevrolet, but what it has done, it has helped me make a decision to change my oil myself. And it's not that hard. I figured changing oil and working on my cars my entire life. And so I decided that I'm going to do this myself. So these are the couple things you're going to need to change your oil for this 2022 Turbo Diesel Duramax 2500 HD. So I went with the Rotella, which I think is some of the best oil. And when I had my Dodge diesel Cummins before, I always used Rotella. I actually even use Rotella in my boat. So this time I've got the T6 full synthetic engine oil. You're going to need to have a whopping 10 quarts. And with the 10 quarts, you're going to need to have a whopping oil pan that holds over 10 quarts. This holds 16 quarts, all right? So you got to make sure of that. Make sure you have gloves. You want to have gloves. You want to have shop towels. You want a 15 millimeter inch wrench to take the plug out. And what we're also going to do is we're going to change the fuel filter. So let me tell you about how much savings. So the last time I did this at the dealer, the oil change was $110. I paid about $70 for the oil. The oil filter, got that at Amazon. Make sure you get the P26. I got AC Delco. I want to go with whatever they use, so there's no gripe that because my truck is under warranty. And what's important, that you make good records of what you put in and what you. I also got the OEM GM original parts fuel filter, and in this comes the fuel filter and the O-rings. The job is not hard. It's relatively simple. But remember, it is a messy job. So I'm gonna crawl on in and let's get started. I almost forgot a couple more things. For your fuel filter, you're going to need a 36 millimeter socket. 15 millimeter for the oil, okay? Also, if you're going to do this in your garage, you want to make sure that you have cardboard. I save cardboard because it just is a great absorbent. I might even put some puppy pads down when I do the fuel filter just to absorb some of that stuff also. But let's dig it right in. Now the manual doesn't specify exactly what kind of oil. It's really your choice. I am going full synthetic, but what they do stress is that you have this API CK4 C-3, all these things that it needs to contain, and that's what they do stress. As far as going synthetic, it's to each its own. They want to make sure that you're using 1540. You can go conventional oil. The Rotella happens, when I went to Walmart, the Rotella happens to be the most expensive. I don't go for the most expensive. I usually try to get what's on sale. But being the fact that my truck is on warranty, I want to use, or try to use, some of the best oil. And I know there are better oils out there, but that's for an argument for another day. All right, let's look for orientation. Sorry for the loud motorcycle, but drain plug, and then you have your oil filter here. We're going to drain the oil first. Okay, lefty loosey, righty tighty. There's no way of getting around it. It's going to be messy. That wasn't so bad. This is not the part that gets dirty. See how black the oil is? It's pretty black. All right, it's down to a drip. I get my oil plug, clean it up a little bit, make sure it's in good shape, which it is. Put my plug back in. Get your rag. Make sure you clean it real good over there. Remember I told you lefty loosey, righty tighty? And snug it up real good. All right, we are done. So let's head over to the other side as we continue with our mess. Now here's the thing about the oil filter. The oil filter should only be hand tight. However, some people crank on it, and you're not going to get it loose. So we're going to go ahead and try it and see how tight it is. It's pretty tight. All right, that calls for a wrench. All right, we're adding another wrench to this project. This one right here. This will get that oil filter off. Oh, gosh. Well. Oh. Well, here's another. These guys feel like it's necessary to crank on these things when it's not. It's so tight. I'm caving it in. Why? Why do you get it so tight that you have to cave in the oil filter? Can somebody answer that question? I'm starting to wonder about these professional mechanics. Sorry guys if you're a mechanic, but you may ask, Stan, why don't you just go to a place that does oil changes? Good question. I want to make sure that it's done right. Not saying that it's not going to be done right, but if something goes wrong which voids my warranty, I'm not willing to take that chance. That make sense? Try not to get that oil anywhere. So far I've been doing pretty good, but I imagine that there's going to be some oil that's going to get onto this here, but nice and slow, methodically. You know, I know a lot of you guys don't need to know this. You're probably watching this video more for the fuel filter more than anything else. I'm actually proud of myself that I didn't get it all over garage floor and all that. All right, well, we're not done yet, so we'll see how that works out. So PF26 is what's recommended through the dealer book. Just check it. I'm gonna take a little bit of that oil and rub it around the thing. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm gonna fill a little oil in there. All right, I put a little oil in the oil filter. We're gonna put it back, and we're gonna screw that sucker back in there. Okay. Let's make sure that we ain't got no drips. We're pretty clean. Pretty happy with that. I guess some people think you have to wrench it. I'm not one of those people. You hand tighten them. Now, if you don't have the strength, understandable, but don't crank on it too hard. You'll squish the seal. Tell me what you guys think. You guys might disagree with me, but that's the way I look at it. So that took care of the oil change. Now we're gonna go fill the oil. Remember, 10 quarts of oil, 2.5 gallons. That's all you're gonna need. Get yourself a good funnel. There we go. You might say, hey Stan, how do you know if you're putting in 10 quarts? So if you look on the back of the bottles, it'll tell you where 2 quarts are. So I'm gonna need another 2 quarts in there. It also tells you not to overfill. So make sure you don't do that either. All right, that finishes the oil change portion of this video. Next, we're gonna tackle the fuel filter. I wanna show you real quick how to reset your oil indicator. See where it says oil life? 0, I'm gonna reset that. I'm gonna push this button here, resets it to 100%. That's all you need to do, and you're ready to go. Now, what's really important, put in your records, and there's a book there. You need to put in your mileage, what type of oil, put all the specifics in there. That way, if they want to argue about you didn't put the right oil in or anything like that, save your receipts, the type of oil you have, and your oil filter, and log all that in there. Okay, so here's your maintenance book, and basically it's a supplemental book that they give you for the 6.6 Duramax diesel. It's not part of your big ones. So it's date, your odometer reading, service by self, and the service you perform. And in detail, just put down everything that you're using, like your Rotella full synthetic, 1540, and the Delco oil filter. Good records. So cool, I got my co-pilot back. She's filming me now. So the next job we're gonna do is the fuel filter. And if you guys wanna skip through the oil change part, that's fine. But we're gonna do the oil filter. 36 millimeter socket is what you're gonna need. Now there's a little star thing that you could drain. That's for draining the water that's in that fuel filter. That's not for draining it. So I'm gonna use a bucket, and hopefully it'll hit the bucket. But at the same time, I am going to use my trusty cardboard. So you have, for orientation, your gas tank. This looks like your def tank, and your fuel filter is going to be right there. And just make sure that it doesn't get too messy. Here again, it's going to be awkward. There we go. I hate messes. I'm gonna try not to make a mess. Let's let that diesel fuel Run out into the bucket. Here's your fuel filter. We're going to change out this O-ring here. This basically just comes out like that. That is the before. That's what they looks like when it's dirty. Now, I don't mess around trying to get cheaper ones. I got the OEM, the original equipment, okay? So, we're going to change that out. There's another little O-ring right here. See that little O-ring? Then you're gonna change that one out, okay? I'm gonna wipe this off, wipe this clean, make this clean look good. Sure, this has gotta come out. Like that. See that? Make sure you don't put it back in. Throw that over there. Wipe, clean, clean. All right. Take out your new O-ring. Put that in there. O-ring really didn't look that bad, you know. Put that baby back on. Do the best you can to not get it like twisted, you know. There. Did you hear that? Just clips right in there like that. Now you're ready to put it back in. We got to change this little itty bitty O-ring, and then we'll put that fuel filter in, and I'm going to show you how to prime it, and then I'm going to show you how to reset it. All right, I'm taking this little itty bitty blue O-ring off, okay, and then I'm going to grab the new one, put the new one on. This kind of just slips on. There you go. That's it. And it's on. Looks good. Be careful for this because this is plastic, okay? Matter of fact, this whole contraption is plastic. We're just going to screw that sucker back. We're going to screw that back on. Now, this has got to be snug because you definitely don't want no leaking going on there. That's it. All right, we're in. Let's wipe this all down. All right, the next thing we're gonna do, come on out. Okay, the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna prime that fuel filter, and then I'm gonna show you how to reset that. To prime your fuel filter, do not touch your brake. You do not want it to start up. You just want to push it. You do that a couple of times. You do it one more time. Now we're going to start it. So you saw it had a little bit of engine getting going. I probably could have primed it a couple more times, but it's done. So let's go and go to your fuel filter. See where it says 10%? Reset. To reset it, you press this button down. Fuel filter 100% now. Okay, for the last service of the day, we're going to change the air filter or air cleaner. We're going to have to take off the air cleaner, which is pretty simple to do. Let me show you. First thing off, you got to take the electrical off. Boom, done. Put that over here for right now. Take this O-ring, loosen that up. It's just easier to get those things out of the way like that. You take 7/16 and you loosen up all your screws. I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, looks like. All right, we're gonna get that done. We'll be right back. Okay, I said 7/60, actually 8mm. That's gonna take the screws off. Okay, I lied. There's actually 6 screws. So we loosened this up, took 6 screws, took the electrical off, the electrical out of the way here, and then get this baby. We should pop this thing right off. Looks pretty clean in there. Now, I was kind of curious because my indicator said I was 50% on the air filter. Well, it looks pretty doggone dirty to me. I don't know, what do you think? So it's pretty dirty in there, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to vacuum all that out. That's pretty nasty in there. I went to Amazon and bought a filter, not an AC Delco, but I want to show you the difference. I'm going to go ahead and use it, but I'll tell you what, there's a huge difference here. See the size of this filter compared to that filter? This all seems to be the same. Go figure. But I'm gonna go ahead and use it, and we'll change it when we need to. It's got that intake. So the other thing they tell you to do is you check this thing here. Make sure that's clean. That seems to be pretty good. Anyway, you lock that into place again. So we're gonna take this new filter and I'm gonna pop it in just like that. I gotta tell you, the old filter was gross, and it said 50%. I don't get it, but it was gross. All right, I put the housing back on, put that back on, tighten that up, put your electrical back on. 6 screws and you're good to go. So let me show you how we are going to reset our air filter. There we go. See how it says air filter life 55%? I don't know, man. I'm glad I changed it. So all you do is the same thing. You press this button here, and there you go. Brand new air filter, and don't forget to log it into your manual. Okay, so just to go back. Change the oil filter, change the fuel filter, and change the air filter. Now the air filter was a little bit of a surprise to me because it said I was still good. It was 50%, my indicator. Well, you know, the more air you get, the better gas mileage you get. So I was really surprised how many bugs. I could probably do a biology class of how many bugs and different species of bugs that was in that canister and in the fuel and in the air filter. So I think a good rule of thumb would be when you change your oil, change your air filter. That's probably a good rule of thumb. All right, folks, that's it. I haven't done a truck video in a while, but if you like it, if you like this video, please give us a thumbs up and ring the bell for future videos. It's Over the Hill Adventures. We're out. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe. Smash the subscribe button. This is Over the Hill Adventures, and we're out.